For the Crusaders, this spelt the beginning of the end. The remaining Templars were dismayed by the actions of their Grand Master. Morale was further undermined by rumors that the Crusaders had lost one of their most holy relics in the battle, a fragment of the true cross. The tide had turned.
The Battle of the Horns of Hattin, which virtually destroyed the Holy Land as a kingdom, because Hattin meant the fall of Jerusalem would come very soon afterwards.
Saladin took the city a few months later. The Christians fought back under Richard the Lionheart, retaking the city in 1229, but held it only briefly. In 1244, the Turks recaptured Jerusalem, effectively bringing an end to Christian rule. In 1291, the ancient seaport of Acre fell. This had been the last Christian stronghold in the Holy Land. Its loss was devastating. Morale in the West was shattered. The subsequent crusades, led by Louis IX of France and Edward I of England, were failures. Many blame the disastrous Battle of the Horns of Hattin, which has forever tainted the reputation of the Templars.
After that, the reason for the Templar Order's existence was not as acute at all as it was before. From that point on, some felt, well, maybe God didn't bless the Templars as well as we had thought.
After the loss of the Holy Land, they were literally at a loss themselves, because everything was geared up to maintain an army in the field and to protect the Holy Land, and the Holy Land was gone.
16 years passed without conflict, though the new Templar Grand Master Jacques de Molay continued to agitate for a further incursion into Jerusalem.
Jacques de Molay went around the crowned heads of Europe trying to create a wave of enthusiasm for a new crusade, and found there were no takers.
After nearly 200 years of bloodshed, the Crusades were over.
Once that happened, the whole reason for the Templars existing became something of a misnomer. There was no reason for them existing anymore.
And at this time of relative peace, the Knights Templar were about to pay a terrible price for their decades of privilege in one of history's greatest public scandals. It began in October 1307 on Friday the 13th, a day henceforth considered unlucky. On that morning, Templar headquarters throughout France suddenly found themselves under attack.
Troops all over France opened sealed orders and arrested every Templar in sight. And they got a considerable number of them.
Among those arrested was the Templar Grand Master Jacques de Molay and a dozen of his leading knights. They were charged with capital offenses and their properties were seized. Were the Templars the innocent victims of a conspiracy? Had their fame and rumors of their treasure made the order a target? Or could it be that the shocking charges leveled against them were really true?
Denying Christ, spitting on the cross, urinating on the cross, practicing institutionalized homosexuality.
Every day was another lurid story.
What was the real reason behind the sudden downfall of the Knights Templar? In centuries to come, scholars searched for the truth. In the meantime, the Inquisition extracted its own answers.
Toes, feet roasted over a slow fire.
A really nasty device called the strappado.
A most unpleasant business.
After the break, Decoding the Past continues its look at the medieval Knights Templar and reveals why, along with their sacred and earthly riches, they still feature in Hollywood blockbusters.